Recognizing social connectedness as an important community goal, how do we pursue that goal for students with special needs? Ken?
Well, inclusion is obviously one strategy for promoting connections between children in special education and children in general education, regular education. But sometimes it has limited value for diminishing isolation if the way in which children are receiving services in classes marks them as different from their classmates. So I think that an important area where we can really provide benefit is in supporting activities outside of the classroom where all students can come together for noontime activities and after school activities. And I would particularly look to activities that can support kids who have a range of abilities working together. So for example, sports that sort of create a single sort of plane of activity may not be our best alternative. Instead, we might look to things like gardening, service projects, taking care of classroom pets, where kids can participate who have lots of different abilities and interests and skills, and they can come to appreciate the fact that even though they have differences from each other, those differences can add up to getting some things done that they all value.
When you have a child with special needs, you worry every day about what their social interactions are going to be. You worry about whether they're going to be accepted by their classmates. You worry about how their teachers are responding to them. And as a parent, you worry about how other parents are responding to you. And we need to do a better job creating those connections. Inclusion in the classroom is great, but if we have a PTA activity, if we have an event at the school, we need to make sure that our parents and our students are educated about what it's like to have a disability so that they can understand why Susie is acting different than their child and what that means. Because it can be very isolating. You could be in the classroom, you'll be standing there with the parents, and you're hearing about Joe and all the extracurriculars she's doing, and you know your kid. That might be too hard for your kid to do. So my belief is we need to do more around community togetherness and education for the parents and the students. I think we need to do some buddy programs as well. And those buddy programs need to be around student education. And it can be something like gardening, but it could also just be something like understanding what do you do in the weekend if you're in a wheelchair? What is it like if you can't read a book? Those kind of activities. So as a board member, I'd like to make sure we're partnering with PTA and other community groups to do those kind of things.
Thank you. Heidi?
I remember my son's second grade teacher, my son spent much of second grade under his desk, and I remember the teacher saying to the other kids, well, you know, everybody learns in different ways. Jordy spends time under his desk. I wear my glasses so I can see. So-and-so has braces to straighten their teeth. She was talking about it in terms of that, which was unique. The kids sort of got it, and they left it alone at the time. In looking at issues of social isolation, I think one of the most important factors is to remember the social isolation of parents as well. I can tell you from personal experience that you figure out exactly who your friends are when you have a child with challenges. The social challenges and the bullying that happens for children with special needs must be addressed in our schools. We're already struggling to prevent social isolation for kids, for example, with severe allergies who are confined now to their own tables away from other children. I will support efforts to find innovative ways to create inclusive classroom communities, and more importantly, we need to look at recess breaks, where principals must find ways to create school communities that care for and embrace diversity. Every child contributes something special to the culture of the school. I know that my children have greatly benefited from learning alongside peers with different abilities, and I will work to strengthen our school's social kindness and bullying prevention programs so that students receive consistent messaging about this across schools.
Camille?
I'd like to pick up on that theme because I think it was actually in this room at a CAC meeting when one mother stood up and said, "I am so lonely because my child is never invited to other parties." And someone within, and I see the person here, had said, "Let me invite you over on Saturday," and someone in the room took care of it. But that can't just happen here at CAC. It has to happen in the classrooms. It has to happen at our schools. And I know some of the principals in their principal coffees are dealing with this, saying we need to all reach out. Teachers, absolutely, teachers make all the difference and can create friendships around in a community of learners, and the teachers are so important in this role. And then when I think about some of the physical plant things that we're doing as well, I can't think of the name of it, the magical garden, the magical playground, where we're making playgrounds that are more amenable to kids of all kinds so that they can meet in these informal ways. And then, I mean, there's so many things we can do, but Melissa too also touched on the buddy program. I mean, Pally has had the buddy program for many years, and this is a wonderful program and continue on at the elementary schools. There's much we can do. It's an ongoing challenge, but we can't forget that the isolation isn't just with our children, it's with our parents as well, and we all need to address this, and with the principals.